Hello everyone, we are here on Dialogue at the Crossroad and I cannot believe it that we are on our 6th episode. It's just been a few weeks and it's really going so well, and I'm so happy to be joined with a new person who's going to also add some reflections, perspective, questions, whatever comes up to her. But I'm giving her the space to introduce herself briefly, but I want to introduce myself first. I'm Kathy. I've been involved with this dialogue since the beginning, and it has been a very beautiful journey along with two beautiful people here. So now I'm going to give the space to Ainoa, and just tell us about yourself and what brought you here, whatever comes up, my love.
Thank you so much for introducing me. Well, my name is Ainoa. I'm coming from Spain, but I'm actually living in Sweden. So my partner and me, we decided to travel for a while after some stressful months, and here we are exploring Hoi An and hopefully the surroundings and the people who lives here, and yeah.
Oh, that's so exciting. This is your first Asian country, right, in Vietnam?
Yes, for this trip. I traveled before some years ago when I was working as designer to China, but it was more like work trips. So it's the first time I'm giving the time to myself to explore with my hands and my senses places in Asia.
I've also heard that you had a very exciting experience on the first day here in Hoi An. How was it for you, like being in the floods?
I think I'm still a little bit in that state. It was quite interesting. I think most of my monsters came to me to visit me, to knock the door and be like, this is scary, this feels like something bad is gonna happen to you. But yeah, with the time I don't know, I digest the situation and felt that everything was okay, and you can find also like safe spots in dangerous situations.
Oh, thank you for being so open. But yeah, this is also one of the reasons why we're having this dialogue, for us to bring up some questions or something that's boiling in our internal world, and we can discuss it openly, especially with Douglas in the space here. But before I will give it to Douglas, we are also joined by this beautiful woman from Russia, Eva. Anything that you wanted to say before Douglas could start?
Yeah, thank you, Kathy. Well, I mean, I guess I can just recap a couple of things about myself. So I came to Hoi An about a year ago, and initially it was a part of a travel without any real plan. I thought that I would travel like for 6 to 12 months, and then I didn't really know what then. Probably I just wasn't thinking about it, but as soon as I landed in Hoi An, I felt like, okay, I want to stay. So yeah, eventually, like step by step, I just decided that I'm going to move here. So it's been 3 months since I came after my trip home, and yeah, here I am.
And it all brought us here in Dialogue at the Crossroad. So now it's Douglas' turn.
Yeah, and it's interesting that we came up with the name Dialogue at the Crossroads because it really is a crossroads where people from many places in the world find these kind of conversations, and in some ways it's quite remarkable that we can be open and real and tell each other the truths of our own experiences. Sometimes it's because we're wanderers, okay? We wanted to get away from something, or there was a curiosity that brought us out into the world, which is kind of a risky thing to do in some ways, you know, and yet somehow or another there seems to be these places and these meetings that that become very valuable. The fact that we all come from somewhere different and share so many things in common is it's heartening. It's a feeling like, yeah, above all we're humans, and above all we're humans who are discovering what life is and how to manage the way to live. And yeah, I've been in Vietnam for now 15 years, and was also a wanderer. I took a year off because I thought, well, I'm either going to get old staying in the same place, or I'm going to go out and explore at the age of 55. So I was a backpacker, and after 1 year I decided to come back to Vietnam because I wanted a deeper, a more an opportunity to stay longer somewhere and to embrace and understand the culture better. So, and here I am, 15 years later, having discovered that I could take my profession, which is to be a psychotherapist, and practice here in Vietnam. First for 8 years in Hanoi, and then for the last 6 in Hoi An.
Okay. And, from the last dialogue we had, Douglas, we were talking about getting out from our safest and comfort environment and try to find a community that will accept us. Did you feel that way here in Vietnam when you first came, and then decided to come back because that's where you wanted to ground yourself and do something?
Yes and no. Okay, because one of the things that I have discovered when I am in a foreign country and even exchanging, you know, friendships and connections with people from elsewhere, there's a connection that occurs, but it's not the same as a belonging. And the sense of where I come from and who my people are, my family and all that, is a different thing. So on one hand, I have felt all along safe and curious and interested and sort of connecting on a, let's call it a human level. But in terms of culture and orientation, could say roots, no, this is a different, I'm living in a different culture, and particularly in Vietnam. The Vietnamese culture is different than my orientation culturally. So it's a mix of both. And I think that maybe part of what we're talking about now comes from that, because self-reliance, okay, becomes necessary when we're partly in environments that are less clear, less safe, less known, you know. I mean, it's what you're already talking about. Here you are in a situation, it's foreign. And of course, in this case, it was nature itself that's offering a threat or something that's quite, you know, the flood, you know. But I think it's very heartening, because what I realize is that I can have very deep and very real connections with people, whether they're from where I come from, which I'm American 5 generations Dutch. So I have both this kind of Dutch heritage, and I also came from a religious family, so it has this, you know, it has a particular way of living life, and so those are my roots. But I'm the one in my family who's out in the world and exploring. So I think it gets us going on the conversation about how we are maybe wanderers who are also seeking something stable and secure and something familiar. Anyway, you've talked about this. And
yeah, you know, I can relate to what you've mentioned about connecting, you know, discovering that you connect can connect on a human level with somebody who's not coming from your own culture. I don't know why, I guess I'm still figuring out why, but that was very important to me to kind of to prove to myself that I can do that. And it was interesting. I'm not sure where this is coming from, but I mean, I lived in Russia for 27 years of my life. I'm 28 now, so just to give you some perspective, it's not like I traveled. Yeah, I maybe spent 1 year, if you sum up all of my trips abroad in my teenage years, because I was doing a bit of work in Asian countries as well. And then I had 1 semester when I was a student. But mostly I just actually lived in one country, one culture. And since my first trips as a teenager, when I realized that it's actually pretty challenging to integrate in a different culture that might never even happen, it was I had this insecurity, what if I can't build close relationships with people from outside of my culture? So when it happened in Hoi An, it feels like, I don't know, I've acquired some feeling of safety that I didn't have before. Maybe it has something to do with reliance, like I don't have to rely on a place to be able to form meaningful connections with people. But yeah, I just wanted to share that because for some reason, like that part was very important to me since I was maybe 14. And I'm not sure if that's what most people are concerned about. I don't know. Do you have similar experiences?
I think actually the question of today is the question of my life. Yeah, I think I had been very lucky since I was a kid. I had been moving a lot. So this question of my parents work in hotels. So we had to move, and then I felt like visitors were my friends, like temporary friends that I could connect with them for that precious time, because I was a kid. I didn't know for how long that person would stay there, but for me were like amazing times with that people. So I think I create that feeling of you can create these special moments and connections with people, no matter if it's like for a year or for like 2 days. Like you can always build this. But for me the question has been always like, but how to connect in another way, like to make more like big and precious roots with that people, that is not only the beautiful moment, also like the struggle, or yeah, how to go deeper into the relationship. So yeah, I don't know if it's something you experience.
I can totally resonate to what you mean, because I've also been traveling for quite a while now, moving from one country to another because of work. And then I got to a point where, okay, I value my freedom. So I tried to work online, and then I got it, and then I got this flexibility. But then now I feel like yes, I have the flexibility, but the time of wandering is, I'm not saying it's over, because maybe it will come back. I don't know how long I will be staying in one place or here in Hoi An, but I got to a point where I felt the same way, that I wanted to build and create something like deep connections with people, like relationships, because every time I stay in one country, I knew that it's only gonna last for 2 years. But then of course, if you build that beautiful relationship with them, you can still take that relationship with you wherever you go, but it's totally different because you're living from different parts of the world. You can still keep in touch, but then I feel like life really will take you in a different path, and then it will just diminish. You can always catch up and whatever, but you grow in a different way. So I felt the feeling of, yeah, I need to find my people. I need to find my space in this huge world where I can always come back and feel safe and secure every time I wander out. So when I got into that feeling, I was already in the Philippines. I moved back to Asia. I went to the Philippines, tried to move from one island to the other. But I stayed in my mom's house for a couple of months to repatch the connection because I was away for so long. I think that was 6-7 years, and I just saw my family 3 months in between. So that 7 years is just 3 months. So it's not I grew so much and I changed a lot. So I feel like I need to reintroduce who I am now. And then I have seen how much resistance about who this person is coming in the house. Like, oh, this is not the people pleaser Kathy. This is not the Kathy we can control, because I was a total different person. And then I came to realize that, okay, this is where they're at. I just have to decide to move out and find my way, but still love them for who they are. And that's when I accepted that, okay, I don't belong here, moved out from different islands, went to Thailand, Bali, and then randomly I met a French woman in Bali, and she was also the catalyst for me to come to Vietnam because of the connection we had. So because of that, I came to Hoi An, and then after weeks of staying here last 2024, I felt like that feeling of safety. I even felt the feeling of belongingness, and the strongest part I felt was that I can be who I am here because it's a clean slate. Nobody knows me. I can just build from ground up while working online and all this stuff. And then, yeah, that's why we're here in dialogue at the Crossroad, because of that feeling that you were talking about, like as looking for something and someone or people, the community, a place to ground deeply and root and flourish. But I still have that feeling of wondering.
Well, I think it brings into question